Hi guys, this video is possibly the first of a number of videos where I'm going to read books that I find as I travel. It's not an audiobook. Don't be thinking I'm going to be sitting here reading audiobooks. It's just me. I find books and I've decided I want to start reading some of the lore of Tamriel in-game. I want to read some of the books because I've never really spent any time doing that. For me, it's just more for my own personal interest, and a number of people said they might be interested in listening, so I'm going to record it. I'm not keeping them in the Let's Plays because a lot of people are not going to be caring. I mean, you don't want me to sit down for 15 minutes and read a book in the middle of a Let's Play, and that's going to irritate. So I'll pick up books, and then when I camp for the night and sleep and eat, I might just pull a book out and read it at the end of that Let's Play and post it a day or so later. And that's all this is. It is not an audiobook. I am not going to be reading these books and practicing and delivering it, with practice polish. I'm probably going to be pronouncing things incorrectly. I'm just reading it for me, and I'm going to be stumbling and yada yada yada, and maybe even giggling and laughing if it's a funny story. I don't know. It's not an audiobook. It's just me reading a book. If you want to see it, watch it. If not, don't worry about it. Just ignore these videos. All right. Orsinium and the Orcs. Okay. How Orsinium passed to the Orcs by Menina Gussost. Okay, let's see what this one's about. The year was Third Era 399, and standing on a mountainside overlooking a vast tract of land between the lands of Menavia and Wayrest was a great and learned judge, an arbitrator and magistrate, impartial in his submission to the law. You have a very strong claim to the land, my lad, said the judge. I won't lie to you about that, but the competition has an equal claim. This is what makes my particular profession difficult at times. You would call it my competition, sneered Lord Bowen, gesturing to the orc. The creature called Gortwog Gronagorm looked up with baleful eyes. He has ample documentation to make a claim to the land, the magistrate shrugged, and the particular laws of our land do not discriminate between particular races. We had a Bosma regency once, many generations ago. But what if a pig or a slaughterfish turned up and demanded the property? Would they have the same legal rights as I? If they had the proper papers, I'm afraid so, smiled the judge. The law is very clear that if two claimants with equal titles to the property are set in deadlock, a duel must be held. Now, the rules are fairly archaic, but I've had an opportunity to look them over, and I think they're still valid. The Imperial Council agrees. What must we do? Asked the orc, his voice low and harsh, unused to the tongue of the Cyrodiils. The first claimant, that's you, Lord Gortwog, may now choose the armour and weapon of the duellists. The second claimant, that's you, Lord Bowen, may choose the location. If you would prefer either or both, you may choose a champion, or you may duel yourself. The Breton and the orc looked at one another, evaluating. Finally, Gortwog spoke. The armour will be orcish, and the weapons will be common steel longswords. No enchantments, no wizardry allowed. The arena will be the central courtyard of my cousin Lord Berelith's palace in Wayrest, said Bowen, looking Gortwog in the eyes scornfully. None of your kind will be allowed in to witness. So it was agreed. Gortwog declared that he would fight the duel himself, and Bowen, who was a fairly young man and in better than average condition, felt that he could not keep his honour without competing himself as well. Still, upon arriving at his cousin's palace a week before the duel was scheduled, he felt the need to practice. A suit of orcish armour was purchased, and for the first time in his life, Bowen wore something of tremendous weight and limited facility. Bowen and Berelith sparred in the courtyard, and in 10 minutes, Bowen had to stop. He was red-faced and out of breath from trying to move in the armour. To add to his exasperation, he had not scored one blow on his cousin, and had dozens of feinted strikes scored on him. I don't know what to do, said Bowen over dinner. Even if I knew someone who could fight properly in that beastly steel, I couldn't possibly send in a champion to battle Gortwog. Berelith commiserated. As servants cleared the plates, Bowen stood up in his seat and pointed to one of them. You didn't tell me you had an orc in the household? Sir, whined the elderly specimen, turning to Lord Berelith. Certainly he had caused offence somehow. You mean old Tunner? laughed Berelith. "He's been with my house for ages. Would you like him to give you training in how to move in orcish armour?" "Would you like me to?" asked Tunna obsequiously. Unknown to Berelith, but known to him now, his servant had once ridden with the legendary Cursed Legion of High Rock. He not only knew how to fight in orcish armour himself, but he had acted as trainer to other orcs before retiring into domestic service. Desperate, Bowin immediately engaged him as his full-time trainer. "You try too hard, sir," said the orc on their first day in the arena. "It is easy to strain yourself in heavy mail. The joints are just so to let you bend with only a little effort. If you fight against the joints, you won't have any strength to fight your foe." Bowin tried to follow Tunna's instructions, but he quickly grew frustrated, and the more frustrated he got, the more intensity he put into his work, which tired him even quicker. While he took a break to drink some water, Berelith spoke to his servant. If they were optimistic about Bowin's chances, their faces did not show it. Tunna trained Bowin hard for the next 2 days, but her ladyship Elisora's birthday followed hard upon them, and Bowin enjoyed the feast thoroughly. A liquor of poppies and goose fat, and cock tinch with buttered hyssop for the first course, roasted pike, combwort, and balls of rabbit meat for a second. That could definitely be taken the wrong way, but okay. Sliced fox tongues, ballam pudding with oyster gravy, Bataglia weed and beans for the main course, Kolakiva ice and sugar fritters for dessert. As Bowin was settling back afterwards, his eyes weary, he suddenly spied Gortwog and the judge entering the room. "What are you doing here?" he cried. "The duel's not for another 2 days." "Lord Gortwog asked that we move it to tonight," said the judge. "You were training when my emissary arrived 2 days ago, but his lordship, your cousin, spoke for you, agreeing to change the date." "But there's no time to assemble my supporters," complained Bowin. "And I've just devoured a feast that would kill a lesser man. Cousin, how could you neglect to tell me?" "I spoke to Tunna about it," said Berelith, blushing, unused to deception. "We decided that you would be best served under these conditions." Okay, so they're making him slow and sluggish for the armour. It's clever. The battle in the arena was sparsely attended. Saturated with food, Bowin found himself unable to move very quickly. To his surprise, the armour responded to his lethargy, rotating smoothly and elegantly to each stagger. The more he successfully manoeuvred, the more he allowed his mind and not his body to control his defensive and offensive actions. For the first time in his life, Bowin saw what it was to look through the helmet of an orc. Of course he lost, and rather badly if scores had been tabulated. Gortwog was a master of such battle, but Bowin fought on for more than 3 hours before the judge reluctantly called a winner. "I will name the land Orsinium, after the land of my fathers," said the victor. Bowin's first thought was that if he must lose to an orc, it was best that the battle was largely unwatched by his friends and family. As he left the courtyard to go to bed he had longed for earlier in the evening, he saw Gortwog speaking to Tunna. Though he did not understand the language, he could see that they knew each other. When the Breton was in bed, he had a servant bring the old orc to him. "Tunna," he said kindly, "speak frankly to me. You wanted Lord Gortwog to win." "That is true," said Tunna, "but I did not fail you. You fought better than you would have fought 2 days hence, sir. I did not want Orsinium to be won by its king without a fight." Ah. Okay, so what did we learn from that story? Don't mess with orcs, I think, was pretty much the model, wasn't it?